Hi everyone, my name is Speziale and I am the national best-selling author of Market Masters. You can pick up my book at your favorite bookstore or online at Amazon.com or Amazon.ca. Alright, so in this video I'll be talking about 100 baggers, where to look for the big winners in the stock market. So I was at the Toronto Reference Library this past weekend. I live in Toronto, Canada, and found the investment book gem, 100 to 1 in the stock market. It's the only original copy remaining in library circulation, published in 1972. I had to make a special request at the library to retrieve it from their archives. I'm kind of a book nerd. Anyways, the author, Thomas W. Phelps, uncovered 365 stocks that turned into 100 baggers within the 1932 to 1971 period, and explained how one could find the next 100 baggers, where each $1 invested grows to $100 or more. I've posted below, and again, this is from my newsletter, so sign up for my newsletter if you want updates like this. In the description, you'll read about the 4 categories of stocks that have turned in 100 to 1 performance records, as explained by Thomas W. Phelps in the chapter Where to Look for the Big Winners. So I'll read this out to you, okay, from the chapter here. So Phelps said, in general, there seem to be 4 categories of stocks that have turned in the 100 to 1 performance records. I was about to say there are rather than there seem to be. What stopped me was recalling the story of the show-off who said to the great predictor, have you ever noticed that sugar is the only word in the English language in which shoe is pronounced shoe? Shh. The reply was, are you sure? The 4 categories I see are these. Advanced, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 1, so these are categories of these companies he's bucketed, which turned into, these companies turned into 100 baggers or more. So they appreciated more than 100 times in the stock market. So the first bucket, they advanced primarily due to recovery from extremely depressed prices at bottom of greatest bear market in American history, special panic or distressed situations at other times belong in this group too. Group number 2, they have advanced primarily due to change in supply-demand ratio for basic commodity reflected in a sharply higher commodity price. Number 3, advanced primarily due to great leverage in capital structure and long periods of expanding business and inflation. And then number 4, advanced primarily due to the medical result of reinvesting earnings at substantially higher than average rates of return on invested capital. All right, end quote. That was the chapter in the book, 100 to 1 in the stock market. If you can find it, definitely check it out, read it. So Phelps influenced guys like Chuck Akre. I've done a video on Chuck, especially on point number 4, where Phelps said, those stocks that primarily increase in value due to the result of investing earnings at higher than average rates of return on invested capital. Okay, here's what Chuck Akre said about 100 to 1 in the stock market and his own investment journey in the famous speech at Investor's Odyssey, the search for outstanding investments, that he gave at the 8th Annual Valley Investor Conference in April 2011, Omaha, right before the annual shareholder meeting at Berkshire Hathaway. So this is, again, from that speech. Chuck Akre is saying, in 1972, I read a book that was reviewed in Barron's called 100 to 1 in the Stock Market by Thomas Phelps. He presented an analysis of investments gaining 101 times one's starting price. Phelps was a Boston investment manager of no particular reputation, as far as I know, but he certainly was onto something, which he outlined in this book. Reading the book really helped me focus on the issue of compounding capital. Here was Phelps talking about 100 baggers. So what's the deal? Well, Phelps laid out a series of examples where an investor would in fact have made 100 times his money. Further, he laid out some of the characteristics which would compound these investments. So in addition to absorbing Phelps' thesis, I've been reading the Berkshire Hathaway annual reports since I've made my first purchase in 1977. So this collective experience moved me along to a point where I've developed my own list of critical insights and ingredients for successful investment, end quote. Akre, who founded Akre Capital Management, coined the term compounding machines to describe businesses that are capable of compounding the shareholders' capital at high rates for long periods of time with little risk of permanent loss of capital. And he came up with a brilliant visualization to explain his investment philosophy, which he called the three-legged stool. He like I said before, he actually has a stool in his office's main boardroom as a constant reminder. Now, I don't want to seem like finding and then investing in 100 baggers is easy, okay? Stocks will go up 100 times, that's tough. The odds are stacked against us all. But I do believe that the quest and hard work involved to find 100 bagger stocks does make us better investors, okay? We're pushing ourselves to turn over every rock to find the possible future winners. That means sifting through thousands of stocks on multiple exchanges and reading countless financial statements and quarterly releases. So in my last newsletter issue and in the video, the microcap interview with Philippe, I revealed my microcap watch list, okay? But then since then, I've decided to experiment in the Canadian microcap space. Microcaps are those companies in the TSX and TSX Venture Exchange that trade below $100 million market capitalizations, okay? So I'm seeking 100 baggers here. Out of hundreds of stocks, I selected only 16 stocks, and I'll tell you what those are soon. I looked for micro companies that can possibly turn into multi-baggers on the foundation of their unique product service, large addressable market, long runway to grow, exceptional management, high and steady gross margins, high revenue growth, and in most cases, profitable, cash flow positive, high return on equity, and high return on capital operations, okay? So here's my microcap portfolio. Namesys, Vigil Health Solutions, Pioneering Technology Corp, Vitreous Glass, Air IQ, DMD Digital Health Connections Group, Ready Shred Capital, Sonora Foods, Bevo Agro, Imaflex, Diamond Estates Wines and Spirits, CVR Medical Corp, Intrinsic Technologies, Green Space Brands, 10 Peaks Coffee, and CPro. I'll provide updates in the future. Go to my website, robinspeziale.com, subscribe to my newsletter. I'll provide updates to you there. Hopefully it all works out. I'm well aware that, some microcaps might fail, while others will be average performers. But it's the 2 to 3 that possibly turn into the multi-baggers. The 10 baggers, 20 baggers. I hope and pray one of them turns into 100 bagger. Those are the ones I'm really excited about. Over time, I'll invest more money into the winners and trim or eliminate the losers, if any decline more than 50%. We'll see, time will tell. All right, guys, thanks for listening. Stay tuned, and we'll talk soon. Bye.